Just because you have rights today does not mean that you will have rights tomorrow.
We are seeing a record-breaking number of anti-LGBTQ and especially anti-trans legislation.
They're terrified of us because they don't like our freedom. Don't sit there looking so good, thinking that you think the fight is over. The fight has just begun. You come from a family of revolution. That is the foundation from which you were born. You literally come from human beings who not only know how to picket, we know how to win.
This is the civil rights issue of our times. And we're fighting for trans justice, we're also fighting for racial justice. We're fighting for reproductive justice. We're fighting for immigrant rights. We're fighting against anti-Semitism and xenophobia and white supremacy. We are going to be centering equality and liberation for all, period, and without exception.
Mark my words. We're not going anywhere. Now get out and begin.
You're gonna kill kids! Their blood will be on your hands!
We've already doubled the number of anti-trans bills we tracked last year.
I have one question for y'all before I start. Why in the hell are y'all doing this?
Senator, kids are going to kill themselves because of this law.
Only about a week into 2023, and across the country, people are already seeing a wave of anti-transgender legislation.
Forcibly outing trans kids, and you didn't even talk to the one person in this body who actually knows what it's like to be scared to death.
The suicide last week of a transgender teenager.
All gender-affirming care for adults is now banned in Missouri.
The power to remove custody of trans youth from their parents.
Senator, kids are going to kill themselves because of this law.
If you are a trans person in Missouri, I am so sorry.
Because the first thing you learn when you love a trans kid in the state of Missouri is that you have to protect them from their government.
First you hated black people, then you hated Jews, now you're hating everybody. So the question is, when it's the only people left are you, will you hate yourself?
Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology.
We are better if they are gone.
I don't want to live in a hole anymore. It makes me feel poor.
We are poor, but we're happy.
What I want you to do after this mass shooting at a school in Tennessee is start going school by school to the families of the victims, and you explain to their face why you think drag shows are more dangerous to their now dead children than AR-15.
I have extremely bad news for transgender people in Missouri. Missouri Attorney General Bailey just banned gender-affirming care for all trans adults in the state unless they meet an impossible-to-satisfy list of requirements.
If you say that 60% reduction in suicidality is not enough, I give you 70% reduction in suicidality, you're going to say that's not enough. No matter what study I give you, you're always going to say it's not enough because you believe in your feelings over the facts.
No, I believe in not abusing children.
You are outlawing with this bill care that reduces suicide likelihood by 73%. And you're targeting it at a group where over 40% have suicidal ideation at some point in their life because of the ostracization that they feel from their family and their community. That's what this bill is going to do.
My name is Kai Shapley. I'm 12 years old, and I shouldn't be here right now. I should be playing with my friends back home in Texas, where I was born and raised, but my home is gone now. Mom sold everything that didn't fit in the car and drove to Connecticut because Texas isn't safe for kids like me.
In 2023 alone, more than 435 anti-trans bills have been introduced across 44 states.
These proposed laws attack trans people's access to essential, life-giving health care.
The right to use the correct bathroom,
to play youth sports,
to enjoy full and vibrant lives,
free from discrimination, from dystopian surveillance,
from the vicious attempts by conservative lawmakers
to twist our humanity into a tool for re-election.
Make no mistake, beautiful trans family.
Your identity is not just valid.
It is irreproachable.
No one can erase who you are.
No matter how hard they try.
You are a gift to this world.
You are the future
of a people whose existence
has exemplified liberation for generations.
And so, terrifying as these times might be,
oh honey, we shall overcome.
Because they have thrown everything they can at us.
And we're still here.
Our community is strongest when we stand together.
That means not just speaking up when the right to marriage
or to adopt
or workplace equality is on the line.
It means coming together to defend our most vulnerable
and our most valuable members.
Our youth.
I know there's a lot of misunderstanding out there about you.
We're here to say that enough is enough.
Now is the time
to raise our voices and say,
to my trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming community,
the hate ends here.
You are extraordinary.
You are inspiring.
And you are exactly who you're meant to be.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I know that they act like we're the end of the world, but our capacity for transformation
is a model for how to save it.
Together, we're gonna beat those bills.
We'll reach those misguided hearts and minds.
And open each other to a love
that does not fear change.
We will fight and we will win.
I'll be with you every step of the way.
Because you
are the future.
UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is being urged to apologise to LGBTQ+ military personnel on behalf of the nation following a review by Lord Etherton into historic mistreatment of LGBTQ+ people in the military. Etherton submitted the review to the government, and there are now concerns it may not be made public or could be delayed. Until the year 2000, a gay ban prevented LGBTQ+ individuals from openly serving in the armed forces, leading to abuse, conversion therapy, blackmail, and dismissals. Wednesday, June 7th marks the 69th anniversary of the death of Alan Turing, a gay mathematician and early computer scientist whose work at Bletchley Park in cracking the Enigma code is thought to have shortened World War II by 2 years, saving an estimated 14 million lives. His role in cracking the important Nazi cipher was kept secret until the 1970s. Turing pleaded guilty to homosexual acts in 1952, 15 years before homosexuality was legalised in the UK. He was urged by his lawyers to accept chemical castration over prison time. On June 7, 1954, Alan Turing was found dead at the age of 41 from what was ruled to be a suicide by cyanide, as a laced apple was found beside him. However, recent reports say the verdict is not supportable, leading some to question if he was murdered. Nearly 70 years since Alan Turing's death, an advocacy group Fighting with Pride is calling for an apology and reparations for affected LGBTQ+ military personnel, including financial compensation, pension reinstatement, and education and training opportunities. The group wants to remove the shame experienced by dismissed veterans and demands that the report be publicly released.
Hamilton wrote, the other 51. How do you ride like you're running out of time? Right day and night like you're running out of time. Every day you fight like you're running out of time. Like you're running out of time, or you're running out of time. How do you ride like tomorrow won't arrive? How do you ride like you needed to survive? How do you ride every second you're alive? Every second you're alive, every second you're alive.
Breaking gay news for the first time in U.S. history.
Disturbing warning coinciding with Pride Month today.
I am so sorry to report.
The Human Rights Campaign declared a state of emergency for LGBTQ+ people in the United States.
So my voice may be shaky, my hands may be trembling, but it is not out of fear or trepidation, but out of indignation and righteous anger.
But you are doing irreversible damage to these kids.
This is my hope. That should be in school, learning history, not making
What you are doing is wrong. These aren't statistics, these are people.
We need to be stronger together.
You cannot stop me. I will not be stopped.
He didn't say love everybody except the people you don't like, except trans people, except children, people of color, except the disabled. He said love everybody.
Any other parents, I will do anything I can to protect my child and the children in my community.
How dare you? The blood will be on your hands.
I will not stand for it. We will not stand for it. We may not win today, and we may not win tomorrow, but we will persist as we always have in the fight of your oppression.
Breaking gay news, and before you ask, no, this is not an April Fool's joke.
This apparently is too woke.
A federal judge just ordered all of the books removed from Texas public libraries due to their LGBTQ and racial content.
Life of Rosa Parks, unacceptable to Republican politics,
must be returned within 24 hours.
With the persecution of trans people and queer families in America, many families like mine are making plans to flee. But that's not possible for many, many families. And so another conversation going around tables in America right now is hiding. Welcome to my new series on the Holocaust. Let's talk about hiding in a genocide. When people think about Jewish people hiding during the Holocaust, they think of Anne Frank. Anne Frank's family stayed together in an attic until they were caught. But the reality is that many families were not able to hide together. Many families had to send their children to a relative or to hide at a neighbor or friend's house. And they didn't get to talk to their children after that. You couldn't write letters to each other, and a lot of them never saw their children again, or if they did, it was many years later. When we think of places where Jewish people hid, we often think of hidden places in homes or attics like the Anne Frank family. But Jewish people hid everywhere, under floors, in hollowed out trees, and even in graves. And for the ones that depended on someone else to hide them, it was a huge risk not only to the Jewish families, but also to the rescuers. If a neighbor or family member heard noise and was suspicious, they would report. And if you were caught harboring Jewish people, you would be executed as well. And the Jewish people in hiding, they had to depend on their rescuers for everything, for food, for water, and if the rescuer was under watch, it might be a couple of days or even weeks before the next supply of goods could happen. There was no going to the doctor if you got sick. And many rescuers were willing to take in children, but not the adults, which is why, like I said, a lot of families were split up. A lot of Jewish people hid in plain sight with fake IDs and papers, trying to pose as German Aryan citizens. In hiding, children could no longer go to school. There was no medical care. And some Jewish people in hiding went months or even years without seeing the sun. Many families didn't go into hiding at all because they kept thinking, it can't get worse than this. And in the next several parts of this series, I'm going to discuss the timeline for the Holocaust and just how quickly everything happened. There just simply wasn't enough time for everyone to move or go into hiding. And many people thought, this is as bad as it's going to get. It's not going to get worse, until it did. I think that now, with everything going on in America, it's really important to re-examine history, because if we don't learn from it, we will repeat it.
First you hated black people, then you hated Jews. Now you're hating everybody. So the question is, when it's the only people left are you, will you hate yourself? Power concedes nothing. This house is for the people, by the people, to serve the people, and you won't listen. You go after everybody's kids but your own. You make hate the way to go as long as it's not applied to you. You have to ask yourself the question, why would they be doing that? Who are we to cause that? None of us said we would come here and hurt people, and yet you make trades and policy so your bills can be heard. You go against the people of this state. This is a horrible, horrible session. This bill is horrible because it has nothing to do with the people. And the last thing I'll say is, God bless you, because somebody's going to have to atone. Yes, the gentleman from Fat Row. Somebody's going to have to atone for not being who you're supposed to be.
Pride is going to be dangerous this year. In fact, the Department of Homeland Security has issued a warning against attacks against government buildings, minority groups ahead of the 2024 election. And domestic terrorist group the Proud Boys has already stated that they're planning on protesting Pride this year, saying that because of this, a lot of TikTokers have made videos on how to stay safe at Pride. But most of those videos are how to stay safe if you're an adult individual or you're in an adult group. So my video is how to stay safe at Pride this year with kids. Number 1 is wear comfortable shoes that you can run in. But I'm going to add to that with kids saying wear matching outfits. That way, if you end up running and you get separated, it's going to be easier to locate your kids, and it's also going to be easier to describe them if you're looking for them. Number 2 goes along with this. Write your phone number on your child's arm, preferably in some kind of permanent marker or something that will not rub off. Number 3, plan ahead. Come up with a meeting place outside of the Pride protest on the outskirts that you can meet if you get separated. Preferably something that has a little bit of protection in case bullets start to fly. Number 4, for every child that is under the age of 10, you need to have one adult. In an emergency, you're going to have to pick that child up that is small, that cannot run fast, and you're going to have to run with them in your arms. Number 5, choose a baby carrier over a stroller if you have an infant or toddler. Number 6, pack a bug out bag. This needs to include water, snacks, a small first aid kit, as well as a bottle of vinegar solution in case there's a tear gas attack. And you should also include a portable battery charger. Number 7, if you have older kids or teenagers, make sure that their phone has Find My Phone turned on so that you can locate their location if you cannot find them in the crowd or they do not show up at your meeting point. Number 8, keep to the outskirts. If you have children, you do not want to be stuck in the middle of a crowd in case that crowd has to run. Always keep an open path available to yourself at all times. Do not get surrounded, and keep vigilant for any kind of disturbing behaviors that you may see. And at the first sign of trouble, you need to leave. Make sure that if you do not want your child to appear on a video or social media, if you don't want their face to appear, that you are having them wear a mask. It's probably safer this year for kids to not come, but many kids want to stand up for the rights that they're losing. So just make sure you do it safely.
Florida lawmakers have come under fire for allegedly kidnapping transgender children during a protest against anti-transgender laws in the state House of Representatives. A disturbing video reportedly shows parents separated from their queer children who were being held behind a door in the House of Representatives gallery. The parents and their children were protesting against SB 254, a bill which aims to prohibit medical professionals from providing hormone therapy and puberty blockers to transgender minors. Protesters threw underwear at lawmakers from the gallery with messages including "Not your business" and "Leave my genitals alone" written on them. Republican Randy Fine, the bill's sponsor, reportedly stated that "there's evil in this world and we face it here today." In a further blow to the LGBTQ+ community, Florida has expanded its Don't Say Gay law to the 12th grade, meaning discussions on LGBTQ+ topics are now banned from kindergarten through to the end of high school. This change has been enforced despite previous guarantees from the Florida GOP that the bill would not apply to any grade levels past 3rd grade.
Tennessee Republicans got their wish. On Thursday, they passed a vote to expel Democrats from the state legislature for joining protests calling for tighter gun laws in the state. Hundreds of students gathered outside the House chamber slamming Republicans for their inaction around gun control and their targeted attack on representatives voicing their concerns around school safety. In a vote along party lines, the GOP State House supermajority voted to boot Representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones. After the representatives took part in statewide protests following the Covenant school shooting that left 3 adults and 3 kids dead, the state GOP focused its efforts on punishing their anti-gun colleagues. The GOP claimed that by joining the Tennessee protests, they knowingly and intentionally brought disorder and dishonor to the House. Both Jones and Pearson were also just 2 of 15 black elected officials in the 99-member government body. Jones and Pearson only joined the House 2 months ago, becoming 2 of the youngest lawmakers in Tennessee history. Earlier this week, the House voted to approve a motion to vote on their expulsion. Their access cards were immediately deactivated as protesters shouted "fascist" from the gallery. Despite this, students say they're not backing down from holding their lawmakers accountable.